RVBN, the Rich Video Blog Network, home to weekly NFL predictions, great personality profiles, great professional wrestling video blogs, great sports video blogs, great professional wrestling video blogs, great entertainment video blogs, great top 10 list of everything and anything, and tons more. Collection of my work goes back to June of 2014 on various social media websites. RVBN, the only video blog on the internet that matters. Time now is 3:50 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. About 53 degrees out right now. Mixing sun and clouds. Some news to report on the RVBN Newswire. Team USA beat Team Italy by the score 3-0 today at the World Ice Hockey Men's Championship in Germany. And sad news to report, the wife of longtime ESPN NFL Countdown host Chris Berman's wife, Kathy, passed away at the age of 67 in an automobile accident in Connecticut. That's so sad. Prayers to Chris and his family in this time of need. And that's about it on the news from the RVBN Newswire. Be back in a flash with my second video blog subject of the day, the history of Hooters of Boston, 222 Friend Street, from March 1998 through June of 2007. But first, hear this. Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up, pump it up, pump it up. Get your exercise in. Run, walk, jump rope, skip rope, swim. Do push-ups, do pull-ups, do power walking, do power lifting. Do anything to get your heart healthy and be a slim, trim, 317 pounds like the late great professional wrestler Playboy Buddy Rose. Get your exercise in 10 to 30 minutes each day. RVBN time now is 3:52 in the afternoon on Wednesday, May 10th, 2017. I'm back. My second video blog subject of the day is about the history of Hooters of Boston. Hooters of Boston was open from March of 1998 through June of 2007. It was a franchised owned one from the Hooters franchisees. Originally, Hooters of Boston was going to open in a fall of 1997 at 222 Friend Street, the former R.J. Fritz building, but a suspicious fire delayed the opening. But they rebuilt it, and it opened in March of 1998, 4 days before WrestleMania 14 at the TD Garden, which was the Fleet Center back then. Hooters of Boston was located at Friend Street, which was a prime area because of the TD Garden with Celtics games and Bruins games and many other events. Plus, it was a short walk to Government Center, Downtown Crossing, Faneuil Hall, the North End, and Science Park area. So they were in a pretty prime location. I started to go to Hooters of Boston in April of 1998, and they had so many stuff on the menu which was pretty good, like burgers and chicken and the world's most famous chicken wings, plus hot dogs, hamburgers, salads, pasta salad, and lots of other stuff. I remember they had so many TVs, even big screen TVs, when I was at Hooters of Boston. And also when they first, opened up, they actually had a cigarette vending machine and a payphone. places still had, restaurants still had those things back in 1998, but eventually they would be phased out. And at Hooters Boston, they actually had pictures of Hooters girls with famous celebrities from other Hooters locations across the United States. The owner of Hooters of Boston, who opened it up, actually owned a Hooters in Warwick, Rhode Island. His name was Bob Zeff, and he owned that Hooters Boston and Hooters of Warwick, Rhode Island for a few years. And Bob tragically passed away the day after his birthday in 2001. And Hooters continued on. It was always busy during the winter and spring seasons with the Bruins and Celtics and many of the sporting events. When the Celtics or Bruins were playing, Hooters of Boston were packed. Sometimes you had to wait in line just to get in. And usually there were 2 girls at the bar when it was very busy, and several other Hooters girls, like serving tables, each assigned to a section. There was a lot of Hooters merchandise, like t-shirts and playing cards and calendars, among others. Was a regular at Hooters of Boston from it first started in April of 1998 until it closed in June of 2007, and beginning in July of 1999, I never missed a week of going to Hooters of Boston. At least once a week I would show up there, and I was on the first name basis of many Hooters girls, and even the management, even some of the cooks, and even the regular customers. How about that? And Hooters eventually got pictures of famous people in Boston sports there with the Hooters girls, so they started to take down some of the pictures of the other celebrities. And they had pictures of Mark Henry, a former newscaster from Channel 7, and a few others. I was in Hooters of Boston when they had Glenn Ordway, Fred Smirlis, and several of the Boston Bruins players. And Hooters did a lot of promotional work with a few radio stations like WAAF and 1510, the sports zone, among others. And also Hooters of Boston had special events they did with bringing the customers to Red Sox games, even a ski trip, and even they went to the casino. And every single year they would have the Hooters of Boston golf tournament with the other Hooters that the person owned, which eventually became New England Wings, which owned Hooters in Boston, Rhode Island, which eventually they added Cape Cod, which was actually Hyannis, Springfield, and 3 in New Hampshire, Nashua, Salem, and Manchester. But the mothership restaurant, or the flagship one, was Boston, at near the TD Garden or North Station. And Hooters kept plugging along for many, many years, changing their menu once in a while. Originally, they had the menu with the owl, with the Hooters owl. Eventually, they had pictures of like General Hooters girls on there. Around 2006, Hooters of Boston started to have some financial difficulties. Actually, in August of 2000, the Hooters of Boston franchise actually filed for Chapter 11, but that had to do with the fire that happened when it first opened back in the late 1990s. But they restructured it, and and smooth sailing. In October of 2006, Hooters of Boston, along with the other franchises that New England Wings owned, filed for Chapter 11. And the reason why they did it, because New England Wings invested in a couple of Hooters in Western New York, which, you know, they weren't making too much money. They were losing money, and Hooters wanted these, like the franchise, wanted to help out Hooters of America with these franchises, but they closed them down because they weren't making money, and New England Wings was like getting into serious financial problems. You know, there were rumors that Hooters of America were going to close them down weeks after filing for bankruptcy because they didn't receive royalty fees or franchising fees, and like New England Wings tried to sell the restaurants that they owned to other potential buyers, but, you know, they got rejected. And the business of Hooters of Boston kind of remained steady towards the end of the like 2006 and 2007, and they were doing pretty good. But in June of 2007, they abruptly closed down the Hooters of Boston, plus the other franchise they own in Warwick, Rhode Island, and Cape Cod, and Springfield, and Manchester, and Nashua, and Salem, New Hampshire, because New England Wings went completely broke, and leaving the Hooters of Boston empty. It remained empty for several months. There was rumors that the Hooters of Boston was going to be bought out by another person who owned a Hooters franchise, but that was not meant to be. And eventually the building was sold, and they had to take down every one of Hooters memorabilia there, and eventually became DJs at the Garden, and now it's the North Star. I have many fond memories of Hooters of Boston. I went there 966 times. At least 29 Hooter girls waited for me 10 or more times. 8 of the 966 visits I went to Hooters of Boston with friends of mine, and should have went a little more, but those things happen, and Hooters of Boston was probably the best restaurant I've ever been to and ever known, because I got to know the entire staff there on a first name basis, which many restaurants, sometimes you get to know the customers and the waiters, waitresses, bartenders, cooks, management, etc. I got to know them on a first name basis. I'm still friends with them on Facebook, and, you know, I stay in touch with them, so that's a good thing. And that's about it on Hooters of Boston. I'll be back later, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus, with my third and final video blog of the night, which will be about the top 10 greatest television mothers of all time, because Mother's Day is coming up. And keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Benning guy. I'm Hollywood's Blood, WCCO, Oxide, Outside, like Elizabeth Hutt, so stunning. She spells Amy Sweet is awesome, Amy. Linda Church of WPIX Channel of New York. Such a Rocking Cougars. Got the best legs in New York City, Barton and Barbara Gibbs of AC11. Sweet Southern Accent. Best legs in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Alia Woolley of WABI Channel 5 in Bangor, Maine rocks at the best legs in Maine. Bye.